ancestors are spinning in their graves because they were not niggas. They were not Negroes. They were their own people in the continent of Africa with their own culture, their own cultural identity, their own cultural history, their own cultural beliefs, their own cultural philosophies, and even their own market. Now, it is so, and Sanada, you gotta put the video back up with the Dutch guy, because the family have to refer to this video and see. The Dutch guy's telling you that, oh, Negroes, black people. This is how we became known to them, courtesy of the Moors in Spain. When the Moors got pushed back out of Spain, circa 1498, they came back into Africa and they attacked the kingdoms in Western Africa, the kingdoms in North Central Africa, in the Sudan. They attacked them because they had been attacking them. They had been exporting them. They had been transporting them.
When you say they attacked them, who are you talking about?
The Moors attacked the kingdoms, okay. and this is how they became Muslims. They got attacked by Muslims, the Moors. It wasn't those white Arabs that came in there. It was the black Arabs, the Moors. And you see this to this day. You see problems with black Arabs and traditional Africans still to this day. In Darfur, you have black Arabs killing and removing black Africans from their lands.
So let me ask you, when Sarah Sutton said he make the statement that the Moors was involved in the slave trade, is he correct?
They began it.
Wow.
And the Europeans came into it because it was a lucrative market. What you have to do, family, and it's difficult because there's many emotions involved. Your people were savages. They were raiding and marauding each other. This is why they were afraid of each other to this day. You understand? Only when they became aware of other people did they attack other people. Prior to their knowledge, which is 1492 AD, is when they became aware that there was someplace else. And when they became aware there was someplace else, what they do? They brought the same shit to someplace else. They brought attack, they brought killing, they brought raping, they brought marauding, they brought taking prisoners, enslavement to someplace else. Prior to that, they was doing it to themselves. Okay? So now these Moors, during the so-called Dark Ages in Europe, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, until the so-called Age of Enlightenment, right, where you had your European Renaissance, where you had Da Vinci and Michelangelo and cats like that painting in Italy. You had Moorish Spain. You had the Islamic Empire of the Moors, that was the so-called light of Europe, where learning was looked upon as a positive thing. But at the same time, the Moors looked at our people, our ancestors, as less than themselves because they were not Muslims. And because they were not Muslims, they considered them kafirs, non-believers. It was okay to take them and make them do the work that Muslims thought they were too good to do. You understand? The same way these Europeans, they treat you, they won't do something like they got these Mexicans today coming in here doing the shit work. You understand? And some of our people have adopted the same attitudes that these Europeans have, because they've been around them so long that they think and they feel just like them. You understand? Their ancestors were raped by them, so they have some of the same blood chemistry, so that they produce the same thought process, right? So they look at certain jobs like that's beneath them. But at the same time, they'll hire a Mexican to do it. That is that European philosophy. I'm too good for that. You understand? Like when the ones over there in Europe that do it to them, I'm blue blood. So you should serve me. You call me your highness.
So let me ask you, brother, where do these modern Moors get this crap from about them being free white persons And because it's a total different story from the Moors in Spain and to the Moors to this day, when they say, oh, we need to do a study law, the white man to respect us, we need a nationality. Where do they get this crap from?
Once again, I told you, they're just mistaken. But I would like to see those Moors take their ass over there to them other Moors, because them other Moors are still enslaved their ass today. You understand? Because it still goes on in their culture. This is the issue in places like Darfur. This is the reason why there's a brand new country in the world today in South Sudan. Those would be our brothers, black Africans, sub-Saharan Africans, against black Arabs, or what was traditionally known as Moors. Those were the ones who originally trafficked our people into Europe. They trafficked them into Spain and put them in that Spanish market, which is how our people began to be known as Negros. That is Negro in Spanish. Remember, the Spanish language developed after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Spanish comes from Latin. Latin was the language of the Romans. No more Romans, no more Latin. Latin is spoken in one place in the world right now. That's Vatican City, and it has 1,100 members. And Catholic priests speak Latin. You understand? And that's who inhabits Vatican City. Latin spoken nowhere else. You see, I was watching MSNBC and I heard Pat Buchanan make a reference to him going to a Latin mass. They still look at these Romans and they still look at this Catholic model. They still look at this Holy Roman Empire as a model to be followed. This is why one branch of this government is called the Senate. That's after the Roman Senate. You understand? They're just following what their ancestors laid down. But our people arrived here as market commodities, and as a market commodity were referred to as Negroes, and those who could not pronounce Negro said Negra, and then that was anglicized into nigger. Now you want to take this term and try to flip it into nigga and say that it's you. It's not you, brother. It is not you. We are not niggas. Not. You understand? We are not niggas. Not my ancestors. But you can see, when you look at Haiti, and you know that the French took a vast majority of people from one region of Dahomey because they were fighting in, that's modern day Benin. They were fighting then, that's Queen Nzinga from Angola. She went from Angola to Benin, fighting these Europeans. She even fought her own brother, who became a vessel of the Europeans. And when she was fighting, this is where your mythology of Amazons, because she was a warrior queen and she had warrior women fighting with her. When the French came into Dahomey, they found that there were warrior women there who were better warriors than the men, because they had been fighting first the Portuguese and then the French and the Dutch and the English. You understand? So now, when you look at this history and you look at the regions from whence they took us, it's not hard to find out who you are. You understand? You do not have to continue to mistakenly refer to yourself as nigger, negro, or other terms that are likened unto those terms. Now, in dealing with terms, brothers gonna say, well, Brother Larry, you call yourself black. I keep telling you that in the middle of a fight, if your enemy is white, you are black. In the middle of a fight, if your enemy is throwing white power at you, you throw black power at him. You understand? It is diametric opposition. You are saying you are there and I'm here, and we are opposing forces. That's what black is in this society. And anyone who does not understand that simply does not understand the nature of the struggle that we are engaged in. You understand? We were attacked as a people. We were attacked as a quote-unquote race. We were attacked not as ethnic groups, but we were attacked because we were successful where we were. The Europeans and the Moors, they saw us planting our crops. tending our fields, and they stole us because they wanted fields planted. They wanted crops tended. You understand? This is why we were such valuable commodities on the market. Look up some of those flyers and you'll see that they even tell you on the flyers, newly arrived from this coast, know how to cultivate rice. This is what they were doing, family. They were selling you as a market commodity to get the highest price for you. This is market capitalism, and you are in the middle of a market right now. And if you don't understand that you are still in the middle of a market, then...
So in other words, the Moors were traitors. The Moors sold their own people out.
What I'm trying to say to you is that the Moors were not our people. You understand? They were not our people.
Well, some of the Moors to this day, the modern Moors will tell you, we are the descendants from Canaan. We are from Morocco.
Bullshit. You understand? Now, what I'm dealing with is reality, and that's not reality. So that the Moors are not my people. You understand? My people come from what's currently known as sub-Saharan Africa. We originated in Western Africa. We know where the transatlantic slave trade came from. It came from 3 major areas. That would be Europeans call Slave Coast, Gold Coast, Ivory Coast. You understand? To this day, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, is still called Ivory Coast. Gold Coast is now called Ghana. Slave Coast, that would have been Dahomey, or the area of Benin, or the area in between. That would be in between 1 and 2. In between Cote d'Ivoire and in between Ghana. The area in between was Slave Coast. They were coming there and they were transporting our ancestors from there. So now all you have to do is look right now today and see what people is there, and then look at yourself. Because remember, blacks were transported by Moors into Spain, so that there was blacks that became Spanish, that became, you know, the thing about Islam that was different from the European Christianity is that if you adopted their religion, right, even though you were still quote unquote a slave, and I'm gonna hit you with something that's gonna make all these Muslims think, run around here calling themselves Abdullah, right? Right? Because Abdullah means slave of. You understand? So all the Muslims named Abdullah was somebody's slave.
But they will tell you that they are slaves. They'll say I'm a slave to Allah.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is they wasn't a slave to Allah. They was a slave to Abdullah Rahim or Mustaqim or Ibn Saud or somebody like that. That's who they were slaves to. They was no slave to Allah. That's some nonsense, right? Because
you have a business card.
Yeah, Allah didn't come out the sky and take no black people up into Arabia and cut their nuts off and make them guard no women in the harem. Allah didn't do that. Those was the Moors who introduced us into the Islamic kingdoms and into the Islamic because the Moors could traverse that market. They spoke Arabic, they believed the same thing, and when you look at that picture that YG Preach posted on his Facebook channel, right, you will see Moorish slave traders and a shipload of our ancestors. Shipload, S-H-I-P load of our ancestors being trafficked by Muslim Moors who were black.
This is, when you hear people say you've been conquered by religion, these are the people that have been conquered by religion.